gonna get my back blown out in peace. You think I got time to talk about a divorce that's a year old?
Welcome to Pop Links. It all seemed like the start of something beautiful. After everything Teyana Taylor had been through with Iman, people were finally beginning to see her smile again. Fans felt relieved, watching her shine and slowly pick up the pieces of her life. And many believed Aaron Pierre was part of that healing process. He didn't come in with drama or noise. He was quiet, gentle, and seemed like the kind of man who understood her pain without needing her to explain it. He listened. He gave her space to breathe. For a moment, it felt like maybe this time, love had found her again. But now, everything's changed. That same man who once seemed like a safe place is being called manipulative. And the woman who was once glowing beside him is now at the center of a heartbreaking scandal. A short audio clip surfaced online one night, and it spread like wildfire. At first, people didn't understand what they were hearing. In the background, a woman is crying, real, raw sobs. She sounds broken, barely getting the words out between gasps for air. And then there's a man. His voice is steady, emotionless, cold, even. Slowly, people started to realize who it was. The woman? Teyana. The man? Aaron. And then came the question that changed everything: why was this even recorded? Before it hit the blogs, it passed through small fan pages, where whispers turned into full-blown outrage. When people recognized the voices, it turned into a storm. In the clip, Teyana is heard saying, "I gave up everything." Her voice shakes, like she's been holding this in for far too long. She continues, barely able to speak, and then Aaron responds with a phrase that shattered everything: "This is what you wanted." That one line cut deep. Social media exploded. It didn't sound like love, and it didn't sound like understanding. It sounded cold. It sounded like a man who had nothing left to give emotionally, and worse, like he'd rehearsed it. People were stunned. The hashtags came fast. Hashtag Teyana deserves better. Hashtag Aaron exposed. And one that stood out the most, hashtag he is toxic too. Fans started looking back. Every photo, every video, every public moment between them. What once seemed like privacy now looked suspicious. Why didn't he ever publicly support her? Why was he silent when people talked about her online? Why didn't he acknowledge her at all? At first, it seemed like he was being respectful. Now, fans believed he was hiding something. But the pain didn't stop there. What really hurt people was the betrayal. The idea that he recorded her during a vulnerable moment without her knowing, it crossed a line. Teyana, who had always carried herself with strength and grace, was left exposed in the worst way. And again, a strong black woman was left to suffer in silence while the world watched. To make matters worse, people began to remember things. Aaron never said a word about the pregnancy rumors. He never defended her. He never even showed her off publicly. A tweet summed it up perfectly: he loved the benefits, not the responsibility. Just a few weeks before the audio was leaked, Teyana had posted something cryptic: "Some people only love you when you're breaking." No one understood it back then. But now, it felt like a warning. And when the audio went viral, she didn't post. She didn't clap back. She didn't say anything. And somehow, that silence hurt more than any words ever could. Because that silence spoke volumes. It said she was tired. It said she'd been here before. And most of all, it said she deserved better. She was hurt again, and this time, she didn't even have the strength to explain. Teyana Taylor had been through enough already, and people were rooting for her. They wanted this to be her moment of peace, her chance to finally feel safe after everything with Iman. Aaron Pierre had seemed like the calm after the storm. He wasn't loud, he wasn't flashy, and he didn't try to steal the spotlight. He came across as gentle, respectful, and exactly what she needed. So when it all fell apart, the disappointment hit even harder. The damage started with a single audio clip. A recording that showed Teyana crying, really crying, in a way that felt too personal for the internet. Her voice was shaky, her words barely holding together. And then Aaron's voice came through, quiet and distant. He didn't sound comforting. He didn't even sound concerned. He just said, "This is what you wanted." That one line lit up social media like a wildfire. People couldn't believe what they were hearing. The man who once seemed so caring now sounded cold, like a stranger. As the audio made its rounds online, Aaron said nothing. No post, no statement, not even a denial. He just vanished. That silence only made things worse. Fans were confused, angry, heartbroken, not just for Teyana, but because they felt tricked. They believed Aaron was different. Now, it felt like just another chapter in a painful story they'd seen before. Not long after, a leaked message from someone close to Aaron appeared. It claimed the recording had been taken out of context. According to the message, the audio came from a type of therapeutic discussion that both Aaron and Teyana knew about. But for most fans, that excuse didn't matter. It didn't explain the coldness in his voice. It didn't make it okay to capture someone's breakdown and let it end up online. One comment said it best: "Context doesn't erase cruelty." Things got even messier when rumors started swirling. A source claimed the recording had been leaked by an ex-girlfriend of Aaron's, someone he had allegedly been seeing while still involved with Teyana. Whether or not that was true, it no longer mattered. The pain was real, and the internet had already made up its mind. Teyana was suffering publicly, while Aaron remained silent. Then came the pictures. Just days after the clip leaked, paparazzi snapped photos of Aaron laughing at a lounge, drink in hand, another woman by his side. The timing was awful. No one expected him to disappear forever, but being seen partying while Teyana was facing public embarrassment felt careless. To fans, it looked like he didn't care at all. And then, the final confirmation. Teyana unfollowed Aaron. She deleted every trace of him from her social media, the photos, the captions, everything that hinted at their connection. In their place was nothing. Just silence. And that silence? It said more than any public statement ever could. For many people watching, it felt like déjà vu. Another woman giving love a chance. Another man who seemed like he was different. Until he wasn't. It left fans asking the same painful questions. Who protects women like Teyana? When they break, who catches them? When they speak, who listens? Love should be a safe space, especially after heartbreak. But for Teyana, that safety always seems to vanish just when she needs it most. What made this even sadder was how deeply she had believed in Aaron. You could see it in her face, the way she relaxed around him. The way her guard slowly came down. After the public breakup with Iman, she had every reason to keep people out. But she didn't, she gave love another chance. And still, it ended the same way. Some fans think this might be her breaking point. That she'll pull back completely, shut herself off from the world. And honestly, who could blame her? When your private pain becomes public gossip, when your tears are turned into memes, how do you ever let anyone in again? How do you trust that someone is there for you, not for the drama, not for the clout, but for your heart? Teyana knows that fear now. She understands what betrayal in the public eye feels like. Her silence, which once protected others, now feels like a cage. Maybe she'll heal. Maybe she'll throw herself into her art again, pouring every bit of hurt into her music or her films. That's always been her way. She transforms pain into beauty. But healing doesn't erase betrayal. It doesn't take away the moment everything cracked. It just teaches you how to keep going, even while it still hurts. And Aaron? He's a question mark. Always calm, always quiet. Maybe he'll release a cold, carefully worded response weeks from now. Or maybe he'll stay quiet, hoping people move on. But that audio, it's not going away. It follows him now. Not because he yelled or made a scene, but because of that eerie calm. That strange, still tone that didn't sound like love, didn't sound like care. It sounded like distance. And sometimes, silence hurts more than shouting ever could. People are realizing now, calm doesn't always mean kind. A soft voice doesn't always mean safe. Sometimes the most dangerous people are the ones who never raise their voice. They wait. They watch. And when they hurt you, they do it quietly, in a way that leaves no bruises but all the scars. Teyana's been here before. She's been strong for too long. She kept quiet to protect Iman. She kept her pregnancy private. She carried heartbreak alone. But pain finds its way out. It shows up in tired eyes, in slower steps. The truth never stays buried. It always finds the light. So now, the world is watching. Will she say something? Will she post a line from a song, a new project, or a silent photo that says everything? Or maybe her silence is the message. Not because she's afraid, but because she's done explaining herself. And Aaron? Some masks don't fall with a bang. They slide off slowly. And when they do, we finally see the person behind all that calm energy. Sometimes, the ones who seem the softest can be the most damaging. One thing's for sure, Teyana deserved better. She always has. And whatever comes next, be it heartbreak, healing, or a powerful comeback, she won't be the one hiding. Not anymore. Poplinks, real talk. Raw truth. No apologies. Like, subscribe and stay woke.